What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. How I promised, in today's video, we're gonna have a look at the new Thunderbolt epic champions that were added in Season 2 in Dragonheir Silent Gods. Honestly, they do look interesting. Now, compared to Ice Blast, compared to Burn Heroes, I would personally think that they are the worst, okay? So, my most wanted legendary champion from Season 2 was Perkunte, which is the exclusive for the Thunderbolt heroes, just because he looks amazing. I never wanted him for his power overall, but I feel like they're just, I'm not feeling it that much. So we have two of them, right? We have Amanda. This is one of the epics, and she is more of an enabler. So she's basically the champion that will keep electrocuted on the enemy. She will stack some attack up on her summons, on her mechanical creatures. With the battle skill, she will summon those mechanical creatures turrets, and they will occupy a tile. They will have a certain amount of HP. She will be able to have two of these turrets up at all time, basically, and heal them. So the turrets will have a 20% chance of inflicting electrocuted for 8 seconds. It's not 10 seconds, it's 8, okay? Then the ultimate grants them attack speed up, grants them attack up. The chance of inflicting electrocuted by the turret's basic attack is increased to 40 from 20%. And that's about it. That's what she does, okay? So it's nothing wow. I'm not feeling it like it's something wow. Then we have Hirvolm. He's the damage dealer. I actually went and purchased the legendary artifact. Since we're on the test server, let's test him with the big boy toys. And yeah, I'm not feeling that impressed overall. When the enemy is electrocuted is triggered, reduces the hero's current battle skill recharge time by 10%. Then the battle skill deals lightning damage to enemies with a 40% chance scrolled 60 of inflicting electrocuted for 8 seconds. So the reason why I mentioned electrocuted is for 8 seconds rather than 10 is sometimes if you don't have enough heroes in your team, it's going to expire before he's going to get to use the other skill, you know? So if your battle skill is on a 10 seconds and your ultimate is on 20, you're going to use the battle skill at 10 seconds. The electrocuted is for 8 seconds. And by the time you get to the ultimate, okay, the electrocuted will disappear. So the ultimate will not use it anymore to trigger it, you know? Because the ultimate triggers electrocuted, dealing extra damage, basically, you know? So that's what Thunderbolt does. Triggers the electrocuted and deals additional damage. Now, overall, I don't think the champion deals bad damage. I just don't think that they bring in a lot of value, you know, and we're going to run them in this dungeon first, so in the Grave of Venom 9. Unfortunately, I cannot build a team with champions to keep them alive as a 5-man team without using any of the legendaries. So I decided to use a 3-man team instead. We're going to try a 5-man team in the Vortex, and we're gonna take them in on the dummy to see how they perform there, you know. Seems like there was some sort of a bug because he was using that basic attack so often, the epic champion. But these are the turrets. The turrets look pretty interesting, right? Like, you see they have a lot of buffs on, which is nice. And the damage so far, we have the second epic, which I forgot his name already, at 630k damage. Decent-ish. Okay, let's see when we're getting at the boss. What sort of numbers we are hitting on the boss. So, we have electrocuted, and first hit coming in was a 54 and a 64k hit, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I don't have defense down here, unfortunately. Okay, we got resisted. He doesn't have accuracy to land electrocuted himself. Is no point since you cannot stack them. So I just have an enabler for him, basically. They don't stack like Burn or Ice Blast, you know. They just replenish the cooldown, basically, you know. Okay, we do have defense down, actually, with Thunderbolt. I forgot. My bad. Okay, come on, use the ultimate. Or you did and I missed it. Maybe. Maybe. But basically, one enabler is more than enough. That's all you need in order to bring in damage. The problem is, for Perkunte, for example, you need to have the best ones to try and stack as many as possible, and you still cannot do it. I feel like overall, comparing Thunderbolt with Ice Blast and with Burn, this is more of a failure than a successful combination. Now, without a doubt, we will have future champions that might enable these other champions better. They might do better things in terms of damage too. Like, there's only one epic champion that really deals damage as a Thunderbolt. I don't say necessarily that they're useless. I don't say that you cannot use them anywhere. If you're trying to use them, for example, in content like the Goblin, they kind of suck in there because you're not going to be able to land Thunderbolt on everybody with one epic, you know, and the other one won't have enough Thunderbolt on all the enemies to enable it, you know. So it's not going to work like that. But either way, I think that they were intended more for arena and stuff like that. If I'm bringing in a legendary champion to land the Thunderbolt, you know, to kind of like play it like that, AoE, even like that, they need to be timed all the time, the legendary to go before, kind of like the rally, you know, you have Laurentil to make sure he's putting rally before Hubert goes all the time, basically, you know, or stuff like that. So they're gonna have to work pretty much the same. But I'm not very impressed overall with how they perform compared to the other two new type of damage champions, you know, the new architectures. So I feel like Thunderbolt is the weakest out of the three, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to quickly jump on to build these two epic champions thinking that they will have something amazing overall, you know. I'm not feeling it as much, honestly. So right here in the drilling ground, we're gonna have a 5-man elemental affinity, and we're gonna bring in a Shy as well. He's kind of like a weird one. You need enlightenment. You need a lot of attack on him too. So basically deals derivative damage. So he does land electrocuted. He puts increased attack on all Thunderbolt allies, which is nice, you know. So if you want him to go with you, for example, on the Goblin to land this, then yeah, you can use him to land the Thunderbolt in the Goblin, and then have of course him to, what's his name, Hirmvolm, to go in and use the ultimate after him all the time to time them. The range that he has is a bit odd as well, you know. So considering that he's a melee, he's gonna be fine for the Goblin. Maybe we're gonna give them a go. I'm gonna chuck in some other champions with them too, but I wouldn't use her in the Goblin, you know. Like, it's just pointless with this. She's gonna suck, basically, you know what I mean. But let's have a quick look here. So we're gonna put more enlightenment for him. He disappoints me as well as damage. Like, I feel like he doesn't really do much with his derivative damage with all the attack and enlightenment that we have on him, you know. So I'm not feeling it as much. Okay. So right here we're gonna be able to basically see a bit the numbers better. We do have a 5-man elemental affinity instead. So I'm gonna stop his ultimate for a second. Okay, third Bart, do the defense down. No, we got unlucky. So I think it was 27 and 27, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen. So it's not a bad damage. It's not a bad damage. It's just harder to make it work, in my opinion. You don't have access to so many awesome epics and rares as you might have for the other elements. We do have one Thunderbolt rare, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm gonna show you in just a second. And yeah, I don't think that is great, you know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. For whoever has them and try them out, maybe I'm missing something on them, you know. Maybe. Who knows? 28, 24k there. Like, the damage is kind of like similar with what I would get from a Rassus with a team 2, but not with a 5-man elemental affinity on Rassus, and he has better gear than Rassus had, plus the legendary artifact. So I don't think they compare, honestly, you know. So let's quickly check the rare champion that we have. For the Vortex, I'll take them in for a spin just so you guys kind of like see them how they perform in there. But I'm not really feeling them, you know. Not really feeling them. And who was the Thunderbolt one? Ariaso. For each enemy inflicted with electrocuted on the field, the hero gains a stack of 5% attack up to 5 stacks. Deals lightning damage to the target. If it's inflicted with electrocuted, triggers Thunderbolt once more. So it's basically like dealing another damage. And then you have the ultimate, which is AoE, deals 660% attack damage with a chance of inflicting electrocuted. So his ultimate is not even activating Thunderbolt, you know, it's just inflicting electrocuted. So again, it might sound like a damage dealer, but he's more of an enabler. Personally, I don't think I will build them, you know. I kind of like had it in plan to use them for my second lightning team, especially the legendary ones, because I have 2 of them. But honestly, I'm just not very impressed with Shy overall, and I do need to give him a different build too. Maybe I'm gonna try to build him with full crit rate, some crit damage instead of what I have right now, and that might perform better because as he is right now with very high attack and enlightenment, I'm just not feeling like I'm getting a lot of value without having crazy crit rate and crazy crit damage, you know. So that might be one thing that I have wrong on him, but that's something that I can try after. And with her, she's just basically a very good enabler, you know. So she's more of an enabler as well, you know. And that's kind of like the whole thing with them. Let me just quickly show you how they look in the Vortex, because we are on difficulty 2, and the gear that we have is kind of like overpowering the Vortex. So let's crack on it. We're gonna go with a 5-man elemental affinity and kind of like get the most out of them. So on with these builds that we have on, yeah, they will deal damage on this difficulty, that's for sure. But I'm gonna repeat it. I'm not just feeling him. So right there, he had a couple of nice hits, 110k, 110k, which is not bad, you know. That's nice damage. If I'm thinking about a Tunnel Nun or a different champion, I feel like if I'm adding up all the hits that they had in there, the damage was kind of like adding up. So it's not bad damage, you know. They deal some damage. I just feel like it's much harder to enable them, and it's much harder to find utility and more use out of these champions, you know. That's a better explanation, I would say, you know. Let me know in the comments down below if you summon them. You have the epics, you have the legendaries, which one of them you summoned. So far, even with Perkunte, pretty much everyone that summoned him, they feel a bit disappointed in him too, as a legendary champion, as an exclusive especially. They say it's very hard to stack his skills up. You know, you need to land a lot of electrocuted to make that happen, and it's hard overall to do it, you know. But where are we so far? Here morph with 1.2 million damage, 1.4, so the damage instantly jumped. So yeah, 100k plus per hit, which is not bad in Vortex, but this is difficulty 2. The damage will scale a bit differently the higher we go, of course, so that will look different too. Okay. I think I'm gonna stop it at around 5 million, guys. That should give us enough data. We do have plenty of enemies allies trying to put electrocuted on the boss, so that never expires basically. I feel like if it was stacking, then it would have been much better than it is right now. As it is, I feel like it's lacking something. Maybe the champions that we have are just not thought very well, you know. They're not designed very well to kind of like create some amazing synergy, to put in some serious work, you know, for this type of content, you know. Who knows? That's kind of like how it feels to me anyway. So we have 2.7 million damage. Then we have Shy with 1.2. I definitely feel like Shy's build is just not good as it is. I feel like I'm going to have to change that one, because he's just underperforming a lot, you know. He's just underperforming a lot. So I'm just going to try to go full crit damage, a lot of attack, a lot of enlightenment with whatever I can have left, and try him for damage like that, you know. And the other problem is that their melee, the bosses tend to rag them a bit easier too, you know. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But let's actually back out of here, kind of like seen what they can do, you know. And yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Personally, I'm not very impressed with them, and I kind of like don't really have many ideas on where to use them, because that doesn't stack. We don't create some massive boom to be like awesome. Yes, against the AoEs like the Fae, against the Pillar of Trials, I do feel like if you have the legendary ones, the epics will work better. If you don't have any of the legendary ones, honestly, don't invest in the epic ones for the moment. Just wait that out for later in the season. Maybe they will become efficient in some areas. I don't see them great against the Chaos Shadow boss, just for the simple fact that the AoE damage there from the melee hero, it won't be as impactful. Maybe on the new endgame boss, you know, if he's gonna have multiple targets again, AoE damage then will become powerful, and that's where Hirmorph will be strong against the endgame boss, if it's the same like the last season one. But that was all for today's video, guys. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.